Sing about the past, enough of what it seems, because this won't last. Talking about the good times, someone like you. Time for good times because we're way past due.
When you get into algebra, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to graph equations, such as linear equations, the equations that make a line. So you're going to have to know
slope, intercept.
Talking about neighborhoods, say you're a little baby girl when the sun turned red.
A video game girl was standing alone in the desert. She managed to bring her GPS with her. After 15 minutes of being in the desert, her alarm on her necklace went off. She was then told to sing to a crowd of marshmallows. She tried to find the marshmallows, but her alarm went off again and said that she can forget about the marshmallows because Ooga Booga and Fufu had a dog named Chewy and he tore off Fufu's shoes. But the biggest concern here is Fufu was not wearing socks when the dog took her shoes off. Now the dog comes up to the video game girl and helps her play a handheld game that's been covered with seaweed stains on it. Now Fufu gets engrossed so much in the game that the video game girl was playing, and some 700-pound little infant came up to her and turned off the game, using a / punctuation on a newspaper. She allowed this baby to take the game, and the baby slid a teeter-totter screw inside the center of the handheld game. Then there were a couple of nails on the desert, and they came hopping on the ground and poked holes inside the game. Now the game's nails and screws were moving up and down at different times. So now they took the game and they went into a Studebaker and they drove the game to a thrift shop. At the thrift shop, they put the game inside a dumpster with rotten eggs and busted milk cartons. A very nice young girl comes up to them and asks them to stare at the sun for about 20 seconds. They refused, and another girl came from the shop and was spinning in circles and picking up leaves from the ground. All of a sudden, the sky turned black. They didn't know what to do, so the video game girl decided to host an indoor carnival in the thrift shop. On September 14th, 1920, a mom played the role of the core in the sun. She did this because in a dream she had, she was to partake in spinning people's ties around while they wore them, and having a man that has a hockey stick waving collect the spun ties. So then she was inside the nucleus of a resonant tuned-up trumpet to prove to everyone that she is the core of the sun. This story was posted in the newspaper, so when the newspaper went to a saleswoman, she borrowed an orchid flower from a barn replenisher and fastened a CD spindle on it. She repeated this process until all 4 corners of the newspaper were covered with this unit. Then she took her stainless steel artwork of the treble clef to a hospital. She also laid the newspaper on the hospital sidewalk by the main entrance. A man picked up the newspaper and sang my song Worms in the Hat while he took it to his house.
She got the nebulizers and folded the tube so that an infant can assume there exist people taking the ACT inside that little tube.
She asked about when I heard a bunch of zeros on paper. She tapped the person in the back, and the zeros got huddled again back. As a result, the zeros became sociable, and it sounded like they were.
A bartender was pouting 8 at a concert. A couple of apricots were served to a woman because she was in the act of slipping on the pavement. So the singer checked up on the bartender and he gave her a little tube of explosive TNT inside. So now she tries to take it baked to him, but one of the bodyguards were off duty, so she got away with it. But in the meantime, there was a heifer in the place bodyguards are supposed to be, and it decided to snort whenever the singer clapped his hands during his songs. Despite the faked date there was a heifer, Person X and Person Y brought an astronaut shell with them. They wanted to tell the singer to get inside a paper bag before a pastor puts his or her nose in poison ivy. Just as soon as the bartender heard that a pastor was there, she wanted to make a phone call to an army
veteran to apologize for his shortcomings among the Appalachian Mountains. But didn't he try to destroy the world? Not to the bartender. She thinks that there should be a system in which he tries to hum when bouncing cool mist steamers against the walls from the Slinky factory. By the way, a postman has a business there.
He's the one that tries to clean cigarette burns in each one of the computer keyboards in the factory. Okay, back to the bartender. The bartender is not a bad person, but she was sad that night because there was a Konami game that was called Castlevania. Why is this? It's because actions don't know how to talk.
I can make it do that. I would never ever kick a baby again.
Park? Is that the name of this park? Oh, you're right. Damn cool.
one or something.
All this time from 1905 to 1999, a couple of females broke the record of frisbee cloud crawls. From this day forward, I want someone who will root against the football team, but that would be taking a big risk on getting my teeth broken.
That's too bad.
I'm happy. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm smart. I'm square. I'm weird. It's the sound game! I'm going to play a sound for you, and once the sound starts playing, see if you can guess the sound.
A blonde girl had the notion to eat breakfast in a different way. Instead of eating cereal and or anything, she wants to decapitate a guy's 93rd handheld poker game. One way she wanted to decapitate it was by moving the guy's perfume bottle and calling a plumber to set up an appointment to get the right kind of liquid that will react with the perfume to break open the game. But as soon as the plumber got there were social workers taking out tape recorder buttons and drinking water while putting these buttons on their Adam's apples. The plumber had to work his way around them. When the plumber noticed that there was so-called perfume on the game, it wasn't. It was chocolate that came from Mars. At that point, he says, "I can't help you." But he knew he could by forming a cheerleading gang with a bunch of people driving with one headlight on at night. Tigers screech and birds either chirp or cheep. Brainwashing isn't going to be around much longer. If I were you, I would tell a smiling girl to hurry up and finish your favorite video game before it comes time when a train driver sniffs scratch your glue.